Hey there, I'm Christian Weilharter, your friendly guide on this journey we call life. Imagine this, over 5,000 hours spent in Zen meditation, just me and the floor, getting to know the essence of existence. Now, I'm here to share that wisdom with you, making the profound seem pretty darn simple. Do you know what it's like to follow a spiritual path for years, learn from different teachers, reading lots of spiritual books, only to be full of doubts about whether you're on the right path or not? Maybe you have even become uncertain if you will ever find enlightenment in this lifetime. If you find yourself in this situation, it's very likely that you have fallen into a very common trap. It's not that you haven't meditated enough, it's also not that you haven't followed enough spiritual teachings, and it's certainly not because you haven't engaged in a variety of spiritual practices. In fact, it's exactly these efforts that may actually be holding you back. Your intense focus on attempting to meditate the right way, your blind belief in superficial spiritual ideas, or a lack of trust in yourself can be the reasons why you feel stuck. These very things prevent you from experiencing the breakthrough you've been seeking all along. The real issue here is that you are stuck in a belief system that keeps you from trusting your inner wisdom. So instead of observing and understanding yourself and the world directly, you rely on second-hand knowledge. What really stops you from finding what you are really looking for is this blind trust in external sources and beliefs. It does not matter what belief you are attaching to, because any belief will blind you to what's right in front of you. Whether it's a spiritual belief or a materialistic belief, it's all the same. It's just an idea that tries to define reality, but is actually hiding reality. Every belief we hold, without exception, is like a cloud covering the sun. Even though the sun remains constant and ever-present, its light is hidden when it gets covered by clouds. In a similar way, our beliefs cloud our perception of the underlying truth. The truth is always there, but it's hidden behind the clouds of our own ideas and beliefs. It's not a surprise that we don't see the truth as it is. We don't even see the moment as it is if we keep attaching to our ideas. And by attaching to our ideas, we form an identity around them, which makes us even less aware of what's really going on. There's a well-known example in Zen that tries to explain this idea. A Zen master once told his students that his teachings, like those of the Buddha, are like a finger pointing to the moon. The finger just indicates the direction and guides the students to look at the moon. However, the finger itself is not the moon. So if the students just look at the finger, they won't see the moon. They will miss it entirely. They will only see the finger. In the same way, true understanding cannot come from concepts, beliefs, or ideas. Concepts, beliefs, and ideas are only there to point you the way, but they themselves are not the way. It can only come from seeing reality as it is. So if we keep attaching to the teachings, the finger, so to speak, it prevents us from direct experience of the truth. And this also explains that any teaching or belief, is just a guide, not the ultimate truth. So whenever we become attached to them, we miss the direct experience of reality. To truly see the moon, we must go beyond the finger and let go of our attachments to all beliefs and ideas. So let's consider a common spiritual belief, which is that you have to purify yourself in order to become worthy of enlightenment. Many meditators actually hold this belief, whether they are aware of it or not. They focus on cleansing their thoughts, their emotions, their actions, thinking they can only reach a higher state of being when they go through this cleansing process. I mean, it's a wonderful idea to become more conscious about your thoughts, emotions, actions, and I don't want to suggest that you stop it. However, let's be radical with this. If you believe you need to purify yourself in order to become worthy of enlightenment, you are not only implying that enlightenment is separate from you, but you also create a sense of unworthiness for yourself. You also postpone the realization of your enlightened nature because you never feel good enough just as you are. It's like holding an ideal in our mind, constantly striving, praying to become like that, hoping that one day we'll finally reach it. But again, trying to become something, trying to reach something, already implies it's not here now. It means you're aiming for a state of being or some achievement, which by its nature is impermanent. Believing you need to purify yourself in order to attain enlightenment will just make you feel unworthy, and it keeps you chasing something that's already within you. So this is a very common belief among meditators, but actually any belief you hold will keep you from experiencing reality directly, realizing enlightenment right in this moment. So maybe you believe enlightenment is a special state of being, and this moment is just too ordinary to be it. This is just another belief holding you back. Maybe you can already think of some other beliefs you cling to. Maybe you even don't want to let go of them. This is also very common. But in the end, we realize that no idea and no belief is ultimately true. They're just fingers pointing to the moon. Okay, good. But now you might say, hey, if I follow your advice, isn't this just adopting another belief? It's the belief that clinging to any belief will always keep you from seeing the truth. So on one hand, I'm telling you to let go of all of your beliefs. On the other hand, I give you a new belief to hold on to, which is to abandon all of your beliefs. So if you try to resolve this with your rational mind, you will end up feeling stuck. You'll be more confused than before, since holding onto beliefs keeps you from seeing reality. But if you reject all beliefs because of attaching to this one belief, you still miss the truth. Alright, so what can you do? There is a spiritual teaching that may help with this. Imagine you have a thorn stuck in your foot, and this thorn symbolizes the beliefs you cling to. To get it out, you use another thorn, which represents the idea that you should give up all of your beliefs. So once you have removed the first thorn, you don't need the second thorn anymore. The idea is while you may need a temporary solution to solve a problem, you shouldn't keep holding on to the solution. Makes sense, right? So how can we apply this teaching to let go of our beliefs? How can we identify both conscious and unconscious beliefs? And what steps can we take to let go of them? So before we can let go of beliefs, we need to identify them first. We can do this by observing our thoughts and internal dialogue. It doesn't matter if we do this during formal meditation practice or by simply paying attention to our thoughts in our everyday lives. We just need to stay attentive to what's happening in our minds. I've also noticed that some beliefs are more superficial and easy to let go of, while others are more deeply ingrained in our system, which makes it much harder to let go of them. But it really doesn't matter, because any belief or thought we hold is like a cloud passing over the sun. If we don't build a story around a belief, or a cloud in this example, we simply see it as a cloud passing over the sun. So no matter how it appears, whether it's a big and dark cloud or a light and thin cloud, a cloud is just a cloud. It doesn't touch or diminish the sun. So we are not trying to distinguish between different types of beliefs. We take the direct approach. We identify each belief that we become aware of. Sure, some beliefs might be easy to identify, while others can be more difficult to spot. And in my opinion, the easiest way to spot beliefs is when we make statements that sound absolute, or if we take something for granted. It's always like this, or it's supposed to work like that. Although some of our beliefs might be somewhat true in a relative sense, they are not true in an absolute sense. Now, when we have spotted a belief, we go over to the next step. And to be honest, the next step takes some courage. It can be really hard to let go of some beliefs, but it's necessary to do that in order to see reality clearly. There is no way around it. And we have to be willing to let go of them, and there are many ways to accomplish that. We can either investigate the belief, inquire into it, and find out why it's not absolutely true. Or we can take the direct approach. And I prefer the direct approach. It may be too easy for you to use the direct approach, but let me explain it first. Whenever you become aware of a belief, you have already let go of that belief. I'll say that again. Whenever you become aware of a belief, you have already let go of that belief. When we become aware of a belief, we create distance from it rather than staying entangled by it. Imagine you're wearing red glasses. Everything you look at looks red. Red cars, red trees, red water, red people. The whole world appears to be red. Then suddenly, you become aware of the fact that you are wearing red glasses. And now you understand that what you are seeing is not the true color of these things. It's just the red tint in your glasses. Even if you keep wearing these glasses, you now know for sure that they are changing how you see the world. And this realization can't be undone. You know it for a fact and you can't deny it any longer. Now, I just wanted to make this point. Please don't take this as a perfect example. You might argue that this just doesn't work. Just becoming aware of a belief doesn't always make it go away. The belief might stay, especially if it's deeply rooted, and you are not ready to let it go. So if that's the case, don't worry. I totally understand you because I've dealt with this like many times myself. And honestly, I'm still dealing with it today. So this might be a radical solution, but if you deal with this issue, you are actually not really aware of what's going on right now. You might have, let's call it belief A. You become aware of this belief, but it won't go away, although you try to let it go. But is this really true though? Or maybe you have belief A, and as you try to let it go, another belief immediately pops up and says, I can't get rid of belief A. So instead of dealing with the original belief, you are now caught up in another belief about not being able to let go of the first belief you had. The original belief already disappeared from your mind, but now you're wrestling with the belief that followed it. I know it sounds crazy, but based on my own experience, this is often what happens. We end up getting stuck with a new belief that appears unconsciously, meaning that we are not even aware of it. So actually, this is the best proof that the method works. Since you haven't become aware of the second belief, you haven't been able to let go of that belief. You might think you're still dealing with the first belief, but it's actually the second unconscious belief that has taken over. But my first belief keeps repeating, even though I've become aware of it, you might argue. This sounds like another belief you might need to let go of. Now, let's not get caught up in trying to let go of all beliefs. This will be an endless pursuit. As you have seen in my previous examples, it's not really about trying to fight our beliefs. It's about becoming aware of what's right in front of us. If that's a belief, then fine, you have already let go of it. Just remember not to get attached to having or not having beliefs. Instead, just stay aware of your thoughts and how they actually move. And last but not least, get comfortable with uncertainty. A belief just reassures us that things are as we expect them to be. But real understanding and true wisdom only come from embracing the unknown. The more you notice how beliefs cloud your vision, the more you will explore the unknown and find clear insight. And the more you stay in the unknown rather than holding on to familiar beliefs, the deeper you move towards enlightenment and a clear understanding of yourself and the world. So as you work on letting go of your beliefs to see things clearly, I would love to support you further. Subscribe to my newsletter for more insights and practical tips that help you on your spiritual journey. Your friend of the way, see you soon.